you're an extraterrestrial being, a life form from another distant planet, but one with a keen interest in what happens here on Earth, how would you choose to monitor this world? You could watch from a distance through some kind of ultra-powered telescope lens. You could mount a ruthless invasion and just force earthly life to comply. Or you could subtly move in so that nobody notices via a well-hidden gateway placed here on the ground. That third one certainly has its perks, and it's what some believe really is happening at a mysterious point, or even multiple mysterious points, in the Grand Canyon. In October 2022, there emerged a brief flurry of news reports relating to an alleged discovery made by one Wayne Wells via Google Earth. According to those reports, this user may have stumbled across an alien doorway in the heart of the Grand Canyon, an incongruous formation seemingly carved into the surrounding desert. Not everyone was convinced, though, with skeptics labeling the dark rectangular mark as more likely an old and abandoned mine shaft. And the story never really took off, even in ufology circles. It certainly never gained the traction that the Doorway on Mars story did earlier that same year. However, this isn't the first time that such alien claims have been made in relation to the area. Probably the most infamous Grand Canyon alien portal encounter story focuses on one Hank Crastman. Crastman was a student in the early 1960s when he befriended another student named Kopavi, a member of the Native American group, the Hopi, who live in and around the canyon. According to Crastman's accounts, Kopavi once led him deep into the wilderness to reveal the spectacular truth. Crastman says that he was blindfolded by Kopavi and led on a long journey via horseback until the blindfold was removed and Crastman found that the pair were facing a vast and apparently solid rock face. However, when Crastman placed his hand onto the rock, it actually went through what was there. Crastman suggests that the hidden location was actually a portal or vortex of some kind then, between Earth and another dimension. Walking through the portal, Crastman was allegedly led through a series of chambers until the world opened up and an entire city spread out before him. An apparently ultra-advanced metropolis with unfamiliar technology. It was as if it were all cloaked by the rocky enormity of the Grand Canyon. It proved to be the one and only time that Crastman visited this place, despite various attempts made by him in the following years to relocate it. As the claimed portal has never been found by anyone else either, his story has again been widely met with skepticism, but Crastman maintained it until his death in 2010. Elsewhere, and while the US government lists the canyon as the second most visited national park in America, there have been many supposed UFOs seen and sometimes allegedly photographed in and around the region. This is perhaps unsurprising, given that the canyon cuts through the very heart of UFO country in the States. The famed Area 51 is around 240 miles northwest. The state of California borders Arizona, with more UFOs reported there than anywhere else in the country. And by some measures, the southeastern point of the so-called Nevada Triangle, a purported region of unexplained aircraft disappearances, begins inside the canyon itself. Take a short journey just a little further east, and you reach Dulce Base, too, the primary setting for another alien conspiracy. The small town of Dulce just falls into the state of New Mexico, along the border with Colorado, and suggestions of an alien base built beneath it first emerged in the 1960s and 70s. It's said by those who live there and by outsiders looking in that there exists a multi-story, miles-deep facility stretching far below the surface, where humans and aliens interact, a kind of joint venture research hub. The allegations rarely go so far as to explain what actually happens there, but Dulce has become an intriguing center for UFO enthusiasts anyway. In previous decades, there have been reports of bizarrely mutilated cattle found there, as well as claimed evidence of unusual gases and chemicals. Otherwise, the Dulce base remains totally unproven, but the rumors of a cover-up have never gone away. Head back into Arizona, though, through which the Grand Canyon cuts its course. And you might also stop at the city of Sedona, another place of interest, as another alleged host for many metaphysical portals. This time, there's less of an alien emphasis and more on general spiritual well-being. In recent times, Sedona has become a popular place for meditation and alternative healing practices. It's said that vortices can be found here all over, but at some specific points in particular, including Airport Mesa and Cathedral Rock. This place isn't wholly without an extraterrestrial undercurrent, however, as there are some reported local legends hinting toward an ET presence, claims of UFO encounters and bizarre flashing lights at some of Sedona's highest points. In local areas that are otherwise apparently deserted, the rumors of an otherworldly connection persist. What's your verdict on these cases? On the claimed doorway in the canyon, spotted on Google Earth? On Hank Craftsman's recollections of an entire other dimension accessed through a secret canyon location? And on the stories that swirl around nearby Dulce and Sedona, linking them to a fabled alien truth? Have you ever visited the Grand Canyon? And did you encounter anything unusual while you were there? In your opinion, would the canyon make for a good base if an alien group were to be hiding out there? Importantly, there are at present no confirmed links between the Grand Canyon and alien life, and there are other more mainstream explanations for most of the claims made. A seeming doorway spotted on satellite maps could really be anything else as well. And the understandable criticism sometimes leveled at the likes of Dulce and Sedona is that local tourist boards are all too often all too willing to drum up an alien legend, regardless of a lack of actual evidence, because it will always bring visitors in. That said, there is a notable degree of genuine mystery running through the Grand Canyon. In the case of Hank Craftsman, the debate is really whether or not we should take one person at their word. But more broadly, the scale of this incredible place can be difficult to comprehend. According to the US government itself, of the thousands-plus major cave sites across the canyon, less than a third of them have been properly explored. Officially, many have never even been accessed. It may well be one of the most visited places in America, and it's also one of the most studied. But the Grand Canyon is still one of the least understood. So much of the landscape is completely out of bounds as well, with restrictions put in place for all manner of reasons, including supposed safety and for preservation. There are certain no-fly zones to consider too, put in place officially to best retain the incredible sense of nature. In the early 20th century, it was President Theodore Roosevelt who signed into legislation that the canyon should be strictly protected. On the one hand, this was a fantastic move, as it ensures that it can never be ruined by human interference. But on the other hand, it means that so much of it lies beyond our influence. And so, in the gaps and shadows that appear there, the calls of alien and cover-up have sometimes caught on in a big way. And that's why it's at least rumored that there could be an alien portal in the Grand Canyon.